to go.
Okay.
I'm muting myself so Carol can see you big, and I'll.
Okay, so let's get started. I wish we were all in person, but this is what we can do right now. So we'll just have fun with it however we can. Normally, I would not start out with black paint, but we're going to start out with black today because of having to put these little white dots in. So the black's going to have to dry before we do that. So before we add the black, though, I'm just going to have you take your pencil and just kind of sketch out. If you go down to the lower end of this curve and then bring that hat up a little bit, it comes up at a slope. So bring that up with your pencil and then back down. Get that sketched out. And you're going to sketch out where this little ribbon is at the top. And again, it starts out lower and then comes up with a little curve and then back down. A little wider up here at the top. Goes in closer, back up, and then gets thinner again. Okay. We're going to go ahead and put the scarf in down here. Does everybody have that? So we're going to start at this lower curve of the face or the head and just bring that up to the top curve by the scarf. Down here, you can't really see it because there's a ribbon there, and so afterwards you can add a ribbon or whatever you want there. But the scarf should be thinner here. So it starts out very thin, and then it gets
Hold on, Michelle, you got to slow down for a minute because I'm still looking for a pencil.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know we needed a pencil. So my son's like running around trying to find me a pencil.
Frantically looking for a pencil. Okay, we'll go back over it.
I think I can catch up as long as you don't go any further.
Okay. Just make sure on the scarf that you're thinner here and you get a little wider and then bring it in. And it just looks, I mean, you can bring that straight across, but it just looks more organic and a little more realistic if you put those curves in it. Do you have a pencil yet?
Yes, I'm good now.
Okay. Okay, so then here with the nose starts out up at the lower part of this little curve.
Michelle, we had somebody say slow down for a second, so maybe go back over everything that you just did and give them time. And I realize everybody's going to work at a different pace, so guys, it'll be easier probably if you unmute yourself to ask questions than to write it in the chat always, then we stay on top of things. And just ask if we're going, like, have her redo it. We want to all keep up. Those of you who have done pie classes with me with 100 people on it, everybody works at a pace. We're all good.
This little curve here, I'm going to redo just a little bit. The lower part of the hat comes down on the face of the snowman a little bit and then curves up and down. The same thing, we'll just go over this ribbon again. It's wider here, gets a little closer, and gets wider again, and then gets thinner. And that's what's going to give a little bit of a realistic look to it. So after you've got that ribbon, the bottom of the hat, and the scarf done, let's just get the nose sketched in there. And so it's going to start out at the bottom of this curve. Bring it down. If you look at this, if we did a halfway point on this head, the halfway point is where the first eye hits. and so the nose comes over to about 3/4. So if you look at where the halfway point is on this, you're going to know that your nose comes about 3/4. It comes all the way down here. So if you want to mark that, you bring your nose down from the skinnier here, it comes down and then it kind of starts to go up a little bit. It's a little fat. So, and I think I could have gone a little lower on that. The eye, remember I said that this eye is at the halfway point. And I dropped that down a little bit low. So put that eye on there. This other eye. It goes a little further than the nose when you look at that. And like I said before, I could drop my nose down a little bit lower, and that's what I'm going to do. So eye there. So you're just going to have to eye it up proportion-wise. Does everybody around that a little more at the bottom too? Everybody with me so far?
Everybody good? I'm expecting you to speak up. You should have nose, eyes, hat, scarf.
This looks like, I mean, there's pretty much of the face left over here that we don't see up here, but I don't have that ribbon there. So you could drop it down lower if you don't plan on putting a ribbon there. Look right down the middle of the belly. We're just going to add the circles for the buttons. The difficult part is going to be trying to make them the same size. So, I mean, if you have something that you can trace that's about the same size, do that. Otherwise, just sketch them out. Those down lower.
And Michelle, after you get all that done, let's make sure everybody gets caught up to that point of everything drawn so far, because we've got a couple more people that said slow down.
Okay. The more I slow, the more I'm going to redo. It's all good. Now, the only thing about the pencil marks, if you have stray marks, try to erase them as best you can, because I will say the orange paint, like orange paint, yellow paints, don't cover very well as pencil marks. So you'll just have to go, you'll just have to paint it, let it dry, and maybe paint over it again. Do I have everybody to this point?
Okay, guys, no, if I can't see you, I can't tell where you're at. So you have to unmute, keep us posted. You should have a hat, a scarf, a nose, a eyes, and 3 buttons all drawn. And I need everybody to tell me they have that much done before we move on.
We're good here. Or what? Oh, your nose is good.
I'm good here.
I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm
I
good.
am too. Okay, so we're ready to move on. As far as the black paint goes, for this around the edge here, if you have a brush that's about this thick, a wide brush that's going to be about as wide as your lines, go ahead and get that brush out. And let's just make this line all the way around first. And just, I would just try to make it as best you can, just the width of that brush. So you're going to have to keep starting and stopping, but just try to get the width of that brush.
Okay, Michelle, I'm gonna tell you, they don't have a brush near that size. So guys, you're probably gonna have to take the biggest brush if you're only using the brushes I gave you in your package and go around twice with it.
Okay, so if you have a thinner brush, just whatever flat kind of squared off brush you have, if you have to go twice, just bring it all the way around and then go in a notch and go around again. I was just going for the easy way. Okay. And once you have that painted, go ahead and paint the top area of the hat and then the area below the ribbon. And normally, those of you who have ever done any of the catfish paint parties, you know I tell you black is the last thing we use, but because we have to add white over this, we have to give it a chance to dry. Just going up there a little bit so I can make those lines a little bit crisp. Although I'm really shaky for some reason. All that caffeine.
Must have been that bottle of wine I put in everybody's bag, right? Did everybody put that in their bag?
Wait a minute, did I miss that?
Maybe.
Did somebody say my name?
Where's my phone?
Hey, Michelle, are you
Yes.
just painting the flat part of the board or are you painting the edges too?
No, that's a good question, but since it's a wall hanging, we should probably paint the edges. So, and I think, all right, so it would be all right just to paint all of the edges your black if you want to. So just take your thin brush and go all the way around on these edges. And just get those, so when people, but most everything is outlined, so I think it's fine to go ahead and just use your black for that. Thank you, Kenna. I didn't even think about that. Everybody see what I mean by the edges?
Yeah.
Just the outer edge. Like if you had a bigger canvas, how you paint the edge of that. Now I think I'm stepping in front of my painting. And if you go over the white just a little there, it's all right because you're going to be painting red and green over it anyway. The only thing is make sure that you have some kind of paper on your table. I hope you guys are laughing and having fun with whoever you're with at home. I'm not used to a paint party being so quiet.
I was thinking the same thing, but hopefully you're visiting with who you're with or you're seriously into your painting.
Yeah, either one.
I'm not used to a paint party with this many kids ever.
The time when we've got paint parties, there's at least one person dancing and doing their paintings. Does everybody have that much?
Just working on my edges.
Okay, I am gonna take a thinner brush, but I think for most of you, you can probably keep the same brush you have. But I'm gonna have to get a thinner one to go in and do these buttons. sure why I'm so today. Take your brush, try to get them as even as possible. Make sure you go over your pencil line just a little so you cover it up. And the next, go ahead and outline the scarf. And it's up to you whether you want to do it thick or thin. Theirs is relatively thick. Just decide on that. I'll go with it. I'm going to go all the way around the edges. And I'm going to go ahead and do this part in before I do this so that my hand doesn't slide over it. Before I do these lines on the side, once again, I'm going to go in and do the outline on this side of the face. And I'm going to do the outline of the nose, and I'm going to do the eyes, just so I don't rake my arm through the paint on the edge, because then I'll end up getting it all over the painting. So obviously, if you're left-handed, you're probably going to do all the stuff on this side and work your way that way. But us right-handed people, we get a little scuff. I'm going to mess everything up. Their outline, their nose is relatively thick. And then again, I'm going to do the eyes before I do this edge here. Just do the eyes all black, and then we'll add the little white touches later. Like kind of a demon snowman, right? Halloween. You know, it's kind of appropriate that we got all that snow and we're doing the snowman. That's looking off, so I'm gonna bring this one, you know, just eye it up. If it looks a little off, then make one of them a little bigger to match the other. Now I'm going to here. Edge up here. I woke up this morning and thought on any other year, the kids would have had their faces pressed against the glass going, do we have a snow day? Actually, the teachers would have too.
Michelle, Tanya here.
Yes.
I've got a question, and this is a Kelly question. Are we outlining everything in black?
Yes.
Thank you.
Right now, just go ahead and outline everything. But like I said, if you're right-handed, it's probably best to, on these smaller outlines up here, to go ahead and start outlining left to right. So that, because like when I was doing the scarf, I stopped it here and then went back and did more in the face. But my hand didn't rub against the paint here and then mess up the rest of it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Obviously, if you're a lefty, you're going from the other way. And even with doing it that, I still got a little bit of the black on there. So is everybody to this point?
We'll give everybody a few minutes to catch up. So if you're following,
Please.
eyes, nose, scarf outlined, all black done, including the eyes and the buttons. And everybody has all black done. I need you to let us know. Or actually, before we move on, so we don't,
I will have to leave this here.
I see
Well,
that I can see still painting, so,
give us a few.
yeah.
Jessa, how's your reindeer coming along?
How's your reindeer, Jessa?
I can't.
Hold on. We'll show you. Give us a second. It's pretty wet right now. You might have to wait till the end to see it.
I can wait. Anticipation. Oh, look at that. That is wonderful. Very cool. We'll all have to do reindeer next. Okay, how are we right now?
I need voices. Tell her to wait still, move on.
I'm good.
Wait,
I'm good.
just a few more minutes.
We got
Okay.
we got a little bit of waiting.
Oh, no.
Just leave it sit.
I'm still on my eyeballs.
It's okay.
See, this is where if you were doing one of the scuba paint parties at the high school, you'd be eating snacks. So I hope you have snacks at home.
So how many containers did Sandy, oh,
Look.
Looks good. We'll show her at the end.
Can you
Michelle, she's showing you again.
I see an eye peeking around. Look at that. Jessa, you are an artist. I like that.
I play awesome?
Do you get that from your mommy or your daddy?
Not mine.
Maybe her grandma.
My grandma.
Ability.
I bet she doesn't get it from her daddy.
That was Liz.
But I don't, maybe I missed it.
Yes.
Liz is on here doing
Liz is on here doing painting.
Yours?
my Liz. Yeah.
Where?
Liz, show your face.
Hi, Jessa.
You can hear her.
There we go. I was going, that wasn't your face.
It wasn't her face, it was her voice.
This is just like gay art.
Face.
There she was for a second.
Hi, Jessa.
Hi.
Elizabeth, I'm nostalgic back in class.
I know.
So do you do any more artwork?
Only for school usually.
Oh,
A lot of
okay.
anchor charts. I like to do paint by numbers too.
Well, teachers get to use art skills a lot.
Yeah.
Tanya, how's your crew doing? Janelle, I'm assuming your crew's doing okay because I haven't heard from you.
one more button.
Tanya, did you say yes or no?
Mommy, look what I'm doing.
Yeah, I'm done. Go ahead.
Yes, we're ready.
Margaret, I haven't heard from you either. I'm assuming you're still on here. You doing good? Or Margaret disappeared too.
The next thing we're going to do is go ahead and paint in the red of the scarf and the orange of the nose, because we need for them to dry so we can add stuff on top of it as well. So just go ahead and take the red and paint in your scarf. Even though it has green dots on it, we'll get those later.
Good as I can get.
And we can always take some of the black, the outline, and put back over it again. But try your best not to go over it. And in this case, even if you can see some of the brush strokes, it's going to be okay. And that just depends how thick your paint is. But because the green dots are going to cover a lot of it. There, sign is very forgiving. And when I get to this edge, I'm just going to start painting inward so I can control that better. Another thing, when you want to control your brush strokes or brush a little bit better, just the further you hold it to the bristles, the more control you have over that brush. So if you're holding it back here, it's harder to control. But if you want to make crisp lines, if you hold it down here, more like a pencil, you're going to be able to do that better. So as you finish that, go ahead and start painting on the nose.
Hey, Michelle, is your red gonna look like it needs 2 coats? Because, I don't know, maybe I'm just painting too thin, but mine looks like it might need 2 coats.
Mine is very thick, but if it's thinner, then you probably do coats. So just let it dry and go over it again. If you try to paint a second coat over it while it's still wet, it's just going to pull the paint off. So if it seems thin, paint the red, go up and paint the orange, and then come back down and paint the red. You can see here that I took the orange up a little too much. I got shaky and covered that black, but that's okay because I can just go over it again with another black line. So if you do that, do not worry. You can see that my orange is thin. So like Kenna was saying with her red, I'm probably going to come back over. Paint.
I need orange. That's the orange paint.
Once you finish that, you can go in and start putting the red and the green lines on this ribbon. What I'm going to do is go ahead and put my red lines in first, and then I'm going to rinse the brush a little and go back in and do my green ones. Hopefully by that time, I'll be able to put some green dots on here too. Well, I'll tell you what, use your red paint up here, and if you need to put a coat on your red scarf, go ahead and do that after you get your red up here. Be able to have a brush that's about the thickness that you need. Or I think what I'm going to do is take it and make 2. So I've got this squared off brush, and so I'm going to make 1 line and then another one right afterwards.
I can see it. Michelle, are you putting only red on that hat ribbon or is it red and green?
Just doing the red right now, and then like I
Just
said,
red, okay,
once you finish this, if you need to go back and do a second coat on your scarf, just go ahead and do it as soon as you finish
Okay.
this. Right.
okay.
Green in at the same time we start putting the green in for the dots. That way we don't mix the paint on our brushes a lot. Okay, so it should look like a candy cane to start with, and like I said, once you finish, if you need to put a second scarf, go ahead and do it. If you don't need to put a second coat on the scarf, then you can go ahead and start with your green stripes here. Fill in all of my red with my green. The thing about this, if you look at this image, there's a little bit of different values of green and red. So if your green overlaps your red a little, it's okay because it creates a different value of green there. So it's not necessarily a mess up.
Everybody doing good so far? Janelle, I saw you said user permanently muted. I'll just watch the chat if you need to us to slow down or do anything different. Hopefully you're keeping up.
Leave white line in here too, like your green doesn't go close enough to your red. But once again, there's a little light and dark lines in there, so this gives it a sense of value. A mess up. After that, I'm just going to go ahead and start putting some red dots on my scarf. Just test it with one dot first, just to make sure that your red is dry enough. And so you can look at the picture and put them, you know, exactly where they are in the picture, or you can just randomly place them. It's however comfortable you feel. You can also
I'm not sure if it has the picture unless they kept their newsletter that the flyer was.
okay. So you can make these thick circles, or if you want to with your brush, you can just make a bunch of little dots on there. However you want your scarf to be. And I might do a second coat on that so it stands out a little bit more too. But if you have a different color of paint, you want your scarf to be red and orange, make it red and orange, whatever you want. If you want triangles on it instead of dots, it's your scarf. Be fake snowflakes. Does your mom paint with you?
Did you say, Michelle?
I was wondering if Amanda's mom was painting her. She's always a hoot at a paint party.
I think her daughter's painting with her.
Okay.
Her mom made pies with her, though.
Ooh, that sounds good.
We did the pie class last week.
That sounds fun.
Exactly. I gotta wait to dry more.
Mama.
Then you can put the circles over here, although I think I'm going to add a bow to mine later. I'm going to go ahead and put these in.
And she keeps saying add a bow to it. If you looked at the picture that was in the flyer for it, it has a real bow out of like ribbon that's attached there. You should be like, if you do a bow or have ribbon, you could do that like Michelle was talking in a color that matched. Although it looks fine even without it.
Mommy, what do you think the elf's gonna be?
It almost, what they've got on it on the flyer almost looks like a child's hair bow. It's pretty. Well, you'll see here, my green paint isn't exactly dry, so I keep wiping it off when I'm trying to paint over it. And yet I'm going to do it again. Okay, we're really good at making dots, right? You know, once you get in the hang of something, you just need to keep going. So I'm thinking just take that brush and rinse it out. The black should be dry. So let's go ahead and make the circle around the outline, the bottom of this snowman. If you can see up here, circles, there's a circle pattern all the way around it. And so we're going to do that here. Just do white circles. Just be freehanding them so they fit in there. So your circles are sort of determined by however thick you made that line. And just try to evenly space them. But there again, it's up to you to determine how much space between them, how big the circles are, and so forth. This is your snow. So there again, if you decide you don't want circles, or you want it to be plaid or something like that, go ahead and take liberties.
Justin's wondering why our snowman doesn't have a mouth.
Oh, he's gonna have a mouth, Jessa. Just hold on. That's a good idea. Okay, now we're on a roll making circles. But this time, in the middle of our buttons, we're just gonna make little dots. So we're gonna do 4 little dots right in the middle of the buttons. Just like. So either use a very small brush, or, I mean, I've still got this squared off brush, but I'm just using the corner of it. Do we have everything at this point?
I don't know about everybody else, but I'm a little behind still.
Okay. We'll wait right here. While I'm waiting, go ahead and thicken this in just a little bit so I can put that white streak in there later. While we've got the white on our brush, you can go ahead and put some streaks in the hat, just to make it look a little bit like snow. And so I'm just going to take this and kind of bring it that way and I pressed down on it a little hard, and then I brought it up so that it's kind of a smudge mark of snow, if that makes any sense. So, and right here, I'm going to start it out here, and I'm going to bring it down, lift up again. Go over that with a little bit of black because I brought it too far. I didn't want to bring it to the edge completely. I'm just going to go over that with a little bit of black. Here, I'm going to do a couple over on this other side too. So bring it up. Mark here. And a little bit right in here. Which is kind of turning gray because I just made that. I add to our eyes as well. So just right up here at the top on both sides. Now, if you want to, just to bring out a little more on the green to make the dots stand out just a little bit more, go into them and little dots or little lines of white. And I would do them all on the same side so they kind of become a reflection of light, if that makes any sense. So you can do them like dots, or you can do a little streak of white like that. I get, just a little sense that light's hitting it from one direction. I'm gonna go up and fix the black outline around my carrot nose. Remember I said that my orange went into it a little bit? So if you've got any issues like that with your outlines, you can go ahead and add that black in over it now. You need to crisp up any of the outlines. Also, we can go ahead and add that mouth. The mouth, it's going to start where the edge of this eye is. If you go down, the mouth should start just a little bit to the left of that. So we're going to do just tiny dots. The expression on the face is going to be really dependent on how you place those dots. So whether you want a smile or a smirk or however it's out will be dependent on how dots are placed. If you round them up more, you're going to get more of a smile. If you give some sort of curvature to it, it's going to be more of a smirk. If it bends downwards, it's going to end up looking a little more like an angry face. Eye. Above it.
Everybody got quiet, so I'm assuming everybody's keeping up.
Little line.
Mommy, was
Just a second.
my plate?
I make these little thin lines, but I should have changed the size of my brush. And you can also do that a little bit here at the bottom. Marks to be more like swooshes. The only problem is my brush is too thick. So I should have got another one. Just something like that. Just a few swishes around the edge to give it a sense of depth, of roundness. a little black into that. And what that's going to do is, right now it's rather flat, but if we bring a few lines in, like that are on the carrot, so that it's rounded. I've added those with black. I'm going to add a little white highlights too. That line just will I add a little bit of value to my carrot. So I think right now you're at the point of, you know, just going in and looking at it and saying, well, wait a minute, you know, this green line isn't as crisp as I want it, or this white line isn't as crisp as I want it, or this black one or whatever, and just touching up the edges. Everybody pretty much have a snowman at this point?
How's everybody doing?
Is the mouth okay now?
Mouth good. Like the mouth?
Yeah.
Is your mom snowman smiling?
Yeah.
Not lock.
Everybody else have a smiling snowman?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I don't know how to just freehand this mouth.
You guys know that I know I can't see everything you're doing, but I'm gonna expect pictures to be posted on our Facebook page.
Pressure.
Mommy, show this up, show this up. Mommy.
I have any questions? They veer off. I think there's a pink or something.
Everybody must be quiet. That means everybody's doing good.
Whatever.
You want to, you could add a few black movement lines in the scarf as well.
Who said that? Why did she say?
Because I can't find a picture on my phone. What picture? That picture.
It's right here.
The one thing about acrylic paint is whenever you do something you don't really like, you can just paint right over it. Now, left is to name your snowman.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
Anybody gonna hold them up and show me, or are they not done yet?
Name your snowman.
Feel. La la la.
I see yours.
Look at the back of it. Look at the back, Lala.
Mm-hmm.
Mommy, look.
See, guys?
Good job, Justin.
Oh,
Not as good
pretty.
as, not as good as Michelle's. All time it looks good. Or
Beautiful.
which one's holding it up?
That's it there.
That has a big smile on it.
Looks really good. I think I just painted my floor.
It happens.
Janelle, I know we can't hear you. I don't know if we can see any of your snowmen. Lindsay, how's yours doing?
I can't see anybody's unless they.
Good? You're not going to show us? Beaky, how's yours? Oh, Lindsay, that looks good.
Here's mine.
Good job, Lindsay.
That's mine, Lindsay.
Backside.
Amanda, that looks good. Oh, so that looks the same color as the board. Oh, that looks really good.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Hanging on.
You look good.
Amazing.
And Elizabeth, I'm just assuming yours looks good too.
I just dropped my snowman. Okay.
Oh, I hope he's dry.
Oh, look, Elizabeth, that looks good. Just as,
Okay. I think we're good.
yeah.
Trying to find the little wire that goes on the head.
Oh, yeah. For those of you who knew, there's a piece of wire I gave you, the holes we drilled in it. That's you can put them through, curl them around in the back so you can hang it.
I can't find my wire. I had it earlier. Now I
No,
can't find it.
there's more at the office if you lose it. And you're close, Beaky. Oh, look at Hannah's. That was good, Hannah. I saw it.
Thanks.
I had it earlier. Okay.
Yeah, we were going back before Christmas. We could hang them on our classroom doors, but
Well, it's a snowman. You can hang it in January,
true.
right? Well, that's my thinking.
Yeah, that's true.
I leave my snowman up for a long time. Kelly and Tanya, did you have fun? Did you sip on something? I had coffee.
I had unsweet tea.
We had Coke.
Yes, the
Oh,
one
there you go.
supposed to.
Janelle, I see you. Hey. Our snowmans are good. Good. Do we get to see any? Oh.
Did Michelle leave?
No, I just can't see anybody unless they talk. So, like, I could.
No, she's up here. Hi, Michelle. Oh, that looks good. Look at you guys go.
Hold it up.
I still want to do a red truck, Michelle.
Okay, we'll do a red truck sometime.
After this is all done, we're going to have her back and we're going to do these in person, you know, once we can have people back in my office. Michelle and I were extremely disappointed.
I wanted to see all of your all's faces in person.
And it's more fun when you can like
Let me turn this off.
get up and socialize some too. But
It's more fun when there's food.
Eat and
for Beaky to get away from her kids. Right?
That's right. Instead of having them run back and forth behind me.
that looks awesome.
Yeah. Hey guys, I'm going to stop recording right now because I think we've got the bulk of everything we